Bro, that might have been one of the best showcases that like I've ever watched. Usually with these videos, I talk about everything, the good, the bad, the ugly. But this one, I'm just going to focus on the good things because there was so much good stuff in it that I feel like this will be a lengthy video just with that. Xbox Game Showcase knocked it out of the park. If this is your first time on the channel, hit that subscribe button because I am the king of Xbox YouTube. But let's just talk about this. So we're going to start things off with the first new game that was unveiled. They did show some Black Ops 6 to start things off, but this is Doom Dark Ages. The game comes out in 2025 and it's Doom in medieval times and it looks freaking awesome. You have a gun and a shield. It's the medieval time setting. Your shield can like be thrown as like a chainsaw and like other things. It can block, of course. It looks good as hell. There's tons of different demons running around. There's massive demons. There's medieval demons. You could like take over like a giant mech thing at one point. You can also like fly on the back of something else too. Absolutely crazy looking game. Doom Dark Ages comes out in 2025. I'm definitely very, very excited for this. They showed off State of Decay 3. Honestly, State of Decay 2 sucked, and I don't really have much high hopes for this. They showed off Dragon Age, Starfield DLC, Fallout 76 stuff, and then we got another interesting looking game called Expedition 33. When I first saw this, I was kind of like, all right, whatever. But as the more I watched it, the more interested I got. It's an RPG game where there's like a paintress and she's trying to wipe out the world. She like removes everyone from the world at some point in time. So you have to make an expedition in order to stop her and of course take her down. It's an RPG though, like I said, it looks really, really high quality. The combat looks really fun. It's like turn-based, but there's like timed counters as well and button presses. So it's like that interactive turn-based style. Huge creatures that you end up fighting. I had never heard of this game. I don't know if this was like a completely new announcement, but if it was, it definitely got my interest. Expedition 33 is a Game Pass 2025 game. No concrete release date, but definitely very, very interested in this game. Then we got another look at Metal Gear Solid 3, as you got, or Delta, whatever they're calling it. I've played this game more times than I can count, so everything looks extremely, extremely familiar to me. You got to remember, it's essentially Metal Gear Solid 3 with a new coat of paint and like new physics, and I guess they're going to tinker with some of the gameplay stuff, but it looks absolutely fantastic. Very pretty. Amazing to hear David Hayter's voice, aka the voice of Snake and all Snake iterations, except for like Liquid Snake and Solidus Snake, but you know what I'm saying. The graphics look fantastic. There's a ton more detail. You can see like leaves flowing around and stuff like that. The physics look a lot better. No release date though. Kind of makes me worried. This was supposed to be a 2024 game, and now it seems like, I don't know. Maybe it's no longer a 2024 game. There was some other stuff that happened, a new Souls-like game, whatever, you know, cool stuff. But then it was time for arguably one of the games that I was looking forward to the most, and that is Perfect Dark. And Perfect Dark, boys, is back. Like this game, for a game that's in quote unquote rough shape, like we heard just a few months ago, it looks absolutely fan freaking fantastic. It's a first-person perspective. I know there was lots of questions about that because Crystal Dynamics isn't really known for first-person games. There's a nice, stealthy aesthetic to it. Interesting traversal. You know, everything looks cool. The world itself looks cool. You're scanning stuff. You know, very, very, you know, kind of like a secret ops sort of person, which is kind of what the game was initially supposed to be. And then we got to look at the gunplay. The gunplay looks awesome. Honestly, I usually take all my notes down, and my notes say I'm speechless at home because I'm enjoying this trailer so much. There was destruction in the environment, some beautiful visuals, the physics looked awesome, the combat looked awesome, the world looked awesome. This looked fantastic. This might have been my favorite game from the show. I was just absolutely blown away by how good this looks. And I know that there's people like, oh, it doesn't really have the vibe of Perfect Dark as a franchise. There's really only 2 Perfect Dark games, 3 if you're including the Game Boy one. And the Game Boy one doesn't feel anything like the other 2. And honestly, Perfect Dark N64 doesn't feel a lot like Perfect Dark Zero on the Xbox 360. So I'm all for this. I love this direction. I think this is the right direction. No release date though. That kind of broke my heart a little bit. But this looked awesome. This was my game of the show by far. And we got to look at Fable as well. We got a release window of 2025. There was some gameplay mixed in. The chick is back, so I'm sure some people won't be too happy with that, but I think the world looks cool. Like, yeah, the chick's not the hottest chick in the world. I was kind of surprised, though. I figured there would be like a character creation thing, but it seems like more story driven. There was like a narrator talking about this wild chick who was like taking over the world and doing all this crazy stuff, but now she's back, and that's who you play as. The world looks really cool, though. I mean, it looks kind of like a Fable game would in your mind. The gameplay looks great from what we saw. And like I said, it is a 2025 game. I'm going to imagine this is a later 2025 game because I don't know. I just feel like they're going to need like more time with this stuff, but it was impressive looking. It did look pretty good. The next game that really caught my interest was, of course, Indiana Jones. Please, for the love of God, still be a 2024 game, because if you're a 2024 game, Xbox is actually doing really well this year. The voice of Indiana Jones sounds great. There was a cinematic trailer with some gameplay at the end of it, but I really liked the cinematic trailer, which is crazy for me to say because I usually hate cinematic trailers, but this is a very story-driven thing, and you have to capture the essence of like Indiana Jones and stuff, and I feel like it did. Like, the dialogue was on point for what you would see in an Indiana Jones movie. Definitely befitting of the franchise, at least the good Indiana Jones movies. It definitely felt like I was actually watching a good Indiana Jones movie at one time. And then once I saw some of the gameplay, it looked awesome. I'm super on board with this game. This is probably, as far as announced titles are concerned, this is probably my most anticipated game of 2024. But is it still 2024? They did say Indiana Jones and the Great Circle comes out in 2024 at the end, but there was no concrete release date. Is that something to be concerned about? I don't know. I mean, it kind of just depends, I guess. Avowed was up next. Can we finally shed the slee stacks of all of the enemies? And yes, there was some enemy variety in this trailer. I did see a few slee stacks in there as well, but that's fine. You could sprinkle in the slee stacks, just don't make them the only thing in the world. The game looks pretty good, though. I honestly am kind of interested in this. I think it looked better than we saw with other trailers from Avowed, and so, this is on my watch list. It's a Game Pass game. It's still coming out in 2024. There was no concrete release date for it, but it's coming out in 2024. And the final game that really caught my interest, Gears of War E-Day, Gears of War 6. Yes, Gears of War, not just Gears. Definitely a very nostalgic trailer. Marcus Phoenix, the Mad World song that, if you know anything about Gears of War, that's been around for a very long time. No release date or anything like that. Just kind of fleshing out the world of what you're going to be in. Kind of a brutal trailer. There's probably something I'll have to kind of remove from the trailer itself. I can't just play it all the way through. But definitely very cool. It tugged on my nostalgia feelings. And like, these are just the things that I loved. Okay, there was a lot of stuff in this that I liked, that I thought was interesting, that I'll be keeping my eye on. This was just like the best of the best. And yeah, there were there was that lull. There was like a 5-on-5 frag card shooter, hero shooter. And it's like, bro, come on. You're not reading the room right with this. There were a few indie games, but even like the Life is Strange, there was a Life is Strange game. It looked fine. There were some interesting narrative-based games, such as South of Midnight, which the cutscenes looked crappy, but like the game itself looked good. Assassin's Creed Shadows was there as well, and that actually looked really good too. Like, it showed off both styles of the gameplay, the warrior style and the ninja style, which, if you play ninja games, you know that it's really been a while since we had a stealthy big budget ninja game. It's always been more so about just the combat and the life bars and stuff like that. And I'm someone who enjoys the stealthy stuff. I want the Tenshus and stuff like that. I want bigger budget origami games. But overall, this presentation was freaking good, dude. Like, it was good. The pacing was good. It was boom, game. There was something for everyone. There was real-time strategy games. There was Diablo stuff, it's not Age of Empires, it's Age of something. It's like getting a redo. Flight Simulator was on there. It was a damn good show. It was a damn good show. I am kind of surprised that there was no Final Fantasy stuff there. I know Square Enix was rumored to be doing a lot of stuff with Xbox, but you know, maybe that this wasn't the time and place for it. The classic RPG, I mean, maybe that was Expedition 33, even though that's a new game. Like there was no Lost Odyssey or Blue Dragon stuff. I know that was kind of one of the rumors, but all that aside, like I genuinely enjoyed this presentation. There are multiple games that I am very hyped for. Perfect Dark, Doom Dark Ages, Avowed, Gears 6, Indiana Jones. Like I'm sure I'm forgetting some stuff here, but just a great show, man. It was a great show. And like, yeah, some of those games aren't going to hit with you. And yeah, some of those games are going to be multi-platform games, but all the games that I was really excited for, except for Expedition 33, are Game Pass games. So it's like, oh wait, Expedition 33 is a Game Pass game. I'm an idiot. There was one game I think that wasn't a Game Pass game, but everything else, oh, Metal Gear Solid 3. Metal Gear Solid 3, not a Game Pass game. Everything else is though. So overall, I loved this show. Xbox is back. When you look at Xbox and what they put out there and what they gave people to get excited about, you know, if you compare it to the Sony State of Play presentation, it was really night and day. And I know some of these were third-party games, but couldn't Sony get some of these third-party games? I mean, the games that they showed there weren't exactly like world-breaking games and stuff like that. Whereas with the Xbox showcase, it was a better variety. It was a better variety of narrative games or real-time strategy games. Maybe not so much RPGs because there was only Expedition 33, but first-party titles as well. A really great show, man. I loved this show. And that's crazy to say about an Xbox show because usually these are disappointing as hell. But I'm on board with this. Let's go, Xbox. They even showed off some new hardware, if anyone cares about that. They showed off the new Xbox Series X all digital 1 terabyte edition, along with some new colors for the Xbox Series X and S. But those are just my thoughts. I want to hear your thoughts in the comment section down below. Did you enjoy this show? Did you think it was overhyped? Did you not like what you saw? And as always, guys, thank you for checking out this video. I am the king of Xbox YouTube. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't yet. And as always, I'll catch you guys on the next video. Later.